So Daniel, I guess adding on to that, so what do people typically look for in the U.S. trust that they can't really find in these offshore jurisdictions? Are there specific, apart from kind of maybe the governing law, are there specific kind of mechanisms that are built into a U.S. trust that are allow it to be more flexible or better, more easily managed, or maybe at a lower cost than their offshore counterparts?
Yeah, I kind of break that down into two major categories, and there are certainly others. The two that I see mostly are one of the things that we briefly mentioned before. It's this ability to create this directed trust structure where it's very clear under state law, in this case, Delaware law, who is responsible for which decisions. And the law in jurisdictions like Delaware and in other states, it's certainly not just Delaware. There are certainly other states which have well-developed directed trust statutes where it's not only that the statutes are in place, but they've been vetted in court. They've been challenged and upheld. And so we kind of are able to institute this directed trust structure where the Delaware trustee is really only doing what you need them to do and playing as little or as much of a role as you want them to. And your investment and distribution decisions can be held, that power can be held by other fiduciaries other than the trustee. And that structure is backed up by what in my view are clear laws at the state level as opposed to the laws that are enforced in these offshore jurisdictions. So it's just more clear who has the authority, who is responsible, and what the standards of liability are. That seems to be one very popular reason to move the trust into the United States from an offshore jurisdiction. Even from offshore jurisdictions that might have, directed trust statutes or something similar to that, there's just not as much of a history behind it, or they haven't been enforced as long. The second big category that we see a lot is the ability to make the trust what we would call quiet trusts with respect to beneficiaries. And that's the ability, to withhold information from a beneficiary for a period of time so that a beneficiary does not simply start learning about the existence of the trust and receiving account statements as soon as that beneficiary becomes an adult. Delaware and several other jurisdictions in the United States have pretty well-developed statutes and laws that say you can create this time period where even if a beneficiary is an adult, they don't necessarily receive any information relating to the trust. And so families may like that. They may like the idea of being able to control that disclosure to a beneficiary until they think the beneficiary is ready. And maybe they're not automatically ready when they hit age 18 or 21. The family might want to delay providing information to that beneficiary until the beneficiary reaches age 25 or 30 or 35. Delaware and other jurisdictions in the United States have longstanding laws, and again, backed up by case law, that says that we can do these things, that we can create these quiet trusts so that beneficiaries don't automatically have to find out about the existence of a trust held for their benefit as soon as they reach adulthood.
Got it. 刚才 Daniel 讨论的就是说离岸信托跟美国信托，就是一些家族为什么会去设立美国信托，除了刚才我们讨论以外，还有哪些观点这样子。那他主要有提出两个观点，第一个观点就是说美国信托就是在 Delaware 跟 一些信托法律比较完善的一些州里面，他们已经有写出说，这个信托可以有一个 directed trust 的一种形式。那这种形式就主要是说，里面的控制人不是受托人，而是这个就是一个 protector 或是一个这个里面的一个实际的控制人。那这个控制人也可以是家族的成员之一这样子。那这样子的信托形式就很多家族会比较喜欢这样子的信托形式，因为等于受托人没有这么大的投资或是分配的控制权利这样子。那另外他的说法是说，很多家族会找他去设立 Delaware 的信托，是因为就是 Delaware 跟其他这些州法，很多时候在美国它会有一种方法是让这个受益人不会知道信托里面的资产这样子。那这个设立人在设立这个信托的时候，有的时候不会想受益人那么早就会知道这个信托里面所拥有的资产所产生的收益这样子。那这些叫 Quiet Trust Provisions， 就是他刚才讨论的内容之一这样子，就是说他觉得说这些条文一旦写进信托合约里面，小孩子就算到21岁或是到18岁这个年纪的时候，他们不会马上就知道信托里面的资产还有信托里面的投资，他们可能会等到后面几年，或是设立人或是这个信托的管理人觉得这个受益人准备好的时候，才去跟这些受益人去揭露相关的资产这样子。那这两个原因都是因为美国的法律算是比较完善，而且之前真的有蛮多就是可能之前的纠纷，所以法律上来说，现在美国它的法律是非常清楚的，怎么样子就是怎么样子，因为它之前都会有相关的一些就是法院的案件去保护这些受益人的权利这样子，就是说或是设立人权利这样子，就是他们会把法律写得很清楚。那就算这些类似这些岛国或是这些小的受托人，他们所在地不是在美国的地方，他们可能对这些法律虽然法律上可能有写出就是一些概略的这样子的概念，但是他们可能没有办法像美国之前有这么多不同的案例可以去追踪说如果怎么样的情况发生的话，那结果会是怎么样。就是说离岸信托可能虽然它的法律有写在那边，但是他们之前没有打过这样子的案例，或是没有这么多的案例的话，那可能大家对细节会比较模糊，那之后也可能因为这样子产生就是更严重的纠纷这样。